Welcome to the Astoria Film Festival Step and Repeat interviews. Today we're speaking with John Gray, whose films Exit Package, The Desecrated, and Household Demons appear in this year's festival. John Gray is also a well-known director who created the Ghost Whisperer TV series and has directed a long list of films, including Martin and Lewis, The Hunley, and Helter Skelter. So if you tell us a little bit about what led you to create this short film and how you came up with the ideas.
Well, you know, what led me to create this really was just frustration. I try to do a short film every year, sometimes two if I can manage it.
Yeah.
And it always seems to work out to do them in May. And so I had one ready to go. I wanted to start prepping it in January. And then, of course, introducing COVID-19. So I was so just, very grateful, of course, to be healthy, but just frustrated to not be able to do anything. And so, I was doing so much as we all did on Zoom,
Yep.
Meetings with friends and parties and I started to think about, is there a way to do a movie, a little, murder mystery maybe, where people are getting killed one by one
Yes.
on the Zoom platform. And so I started thinking about it. I thought, this could be really fun. And I got a bunch of my actor friends and some who I didn't know, but they were so thrilled to just be doing something.
Yes. Yes.
And so that's how it came about. I just sort of, wrote this. It's a little, as you know, it's a little comedic, a little, little thrillerish. And we did a day of rehearsal, and then we just kind of shot it, on Zoom.
Yep.
In one day.
It's funny because I do film workshops with kids. And so when COVID hit, we took them online and just tried to figure it out. And as I was trying to think of a movie, the first thing that came to mind was, oh, well, we have these little boxes. If we kill somebody, but they're 9-year-olds. So I couldn't really do that without upsetting a lot of parents. So we did something, but not murder. So so I was happy to see it done.
Right. Yeah. It was really, just one of those things where you start to think about what you can, and the challenge was to try to, even though it's basically people talking the way you and I are now, but how to keep it a little bit cinematic, how to try to get some movement into it.
Yes.
Going back and forth and having a lot of action happening at the same time. And so there's a certain amount of choreography involved.
And definitely like everybody's performance was amazing. Obviously, they're talented actors, but your history as a director, I'm sure, played into that as well. But where did you get the idea for? Because I'm still like, does he know something I don't know about the offshore kind of like people faking their COVID vaccines? Like it all sounded very realistic. Is all I'm saying.
Good to hear. No, I was, I started out thinking about just, organically. I knew I wanted to do a Zoom meeting. I knew I wanted to have people getting killed, sort of one by one, and what's happening here. And so that naturally led me to wanting to do something sinister. This meeting has to be about something bad. They've got to be criminals. They're up to something. And
Yep.
so an investment company these days, that's an easy target for to make a villain out of.
They've made themselves an easy target.
Right, exactly. And so, that just kind of grew from that. And of course, if they're a crooked investment company and they're selling bad investments, what in this time frame is a great bad investment? Cure for COVID. We'd all like to have one.
Yes.
They have absolutely no moral qualms at all, about selling that. So I think it's fun sometimes to deal with characters who are just so morally bankrupt that there's nothing they won't do. And then when they start getting theirs, it's a lot of fun to see. Shot last December, before all this happened, and then we got shut down in post-production with COVID. So it was only in June and July I was able to get the last elements I needed, the visual effects and stuff like that. So that's now finished finally. So we're going out with that. And I'm writing. We're trying to develop another series. My producing partners and I are working a couple of things. I'm trying to raise money for a feature film. So a lot of balls in the air, as you have to have.
And how did you get into filmmaking?
Right. Well, I was very lucky in a lot of ways because I never really understood how hard it was until it was too late, until I was already like, trying to really do it.
Yeah, no,
And
that's probably very good.
yeah, I grew up in Brooklyn, and my father was an iron worker. My mother worked for the city. I mean, I had no connections whatsoever.
Yeah, my dad
Um,
was in Harbor, and I grew up in Queens, so I
yeah,
understand.
yeah, my father was from Queens. He was from
What
Jackson
part?
Heights. He,
Yeah.
he was born in Jackson Heights, and then he lived for many years in in Astoria, and one other section which escapes me now. But anyway, he was a very diehard Queens guy. My dad.
Yeah, yeah. We
Um,
tend to be.
yeah, yeah. And so I was just I wanted to I just read a lot. Of course, I went to the movies when I was a kid, and I loved movies. And I used to think I wanted to be an actor because I thought the actors did it all. And
Yeah.
so I started to make little movies. My uncle had an old 8mm camera. I started to make little movies, and I started to realize that it's not the person who really makes the movie is this consciousness behind the camera.
Yes.
That's the real
Yes.
storytelling, and the rest
Yes.
of it are just. And so then I started getting really serious about wanting to direct, and so I just I just I just made movies any way I possibly could. Regular 8 film, Super 8 film, later on 16mm film. I begged, borrowed, and stole to make movies. I just had to do it. You could not stop me.
Yeah.
And then ultimately, I got hired to direct some educational films in Washington, D.C., which led to some narrative films. And then ultimately, I wrote a script. I was always writing all the time. And one script that I wrote got me an agent, a big agent. And then all of a sudden things just changed after like 10 years of starving and eating my shoes. I suddenly started getting writing work. And of course I said to my agent, but I'm really a director. And he said, of course you are, but let's concentrate on the writing and that'll lead to the directing. And he was right. So that's kind of how I got, that's a very, very Reader's Digest version of it. But the thing that I always tell young people starting out is that the best thing to do is just to get out there and make a movie. And now, with everything at your fingertips, you've got a movie studio in your pocket.
Yeah, literally.
You shoot it, edit it, anything. It's so easy to do. So there is no excuse for not getting out there and making your movie and make it as best you can. Learn from it. I also try to encourage, young aspiring filmmakers to read a lot, so they can really understand structure and drama. Because, well, anyway, I did a feature film years ago called White Irish Drinkers, a little indie movie, and we screened it at Columbia for the film students. And it was disappointing in a way because the only questions I got from them were technical ones. What lens was that, and how'd you get that shot? And how,
Yes.
and, there's
They
such
were trying to impress you. They think that stuff impresses people. I've been there. I've seen that. They totally think that stuff impresses people.
Well, I tried to explain to them that, that's all great and it's important, but what really makes filmmaking is storytelling and drama and structure and knowing how to work with actors and knowing how to tell a story. And there are all these great tools that we use, which are fun and sexy, but so many times young people are just obsessed with the technical aspects of it, and the rest is boring, and that's what I try to encourage them to read and see theater and really understand dramatic structure. The most important thing is to know the story you want to tell, have a vision for it, and then you surround yourself with people who can help you execute that vision.
Yes.
But, they're going to look to you for the vision. You better have that. No one cares if you say, okay, give me a 50 on sticks. Wow.
Exactly.
That's the DP's job.
You're right. That's the easy way in, to look cool, sound cool,
Right.
You'll know what you're talking about. How can people reach you or find your work?
My Twitter handle is just at J Thomas Gray, Gray.
Anything you'd like to say before we wrap up, I guess?
I just want to. I guess I just like to say, how important I think film festivals are. And my wife is my producing partner on my films, and whenever we love to, when we can, travel with the films, and last year we were in Boulder and Sedona and Savannah and in LA, and it's an important thing because as a filmmaker you often are in a vacuum, especially in New York, because it's not Hollywood. It's not in your face every second, every day.
Yeah.
So it tends to be a bit of a vacuum. And festivals give you the opportunity to see, what other people are up to, but also to just have dialogue with other filmmakers and learn and just, just indulge your passion. So it's always encourage people to support film festivals and go to them and enter them.
Well, I really appreciate that, because I mean, I've been even surprised at how much I've loved the festivals. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
I've met some of my now closest friends through my own festival, because it's just a beautiful community, right? These like introverted creatives who get out on very rare occasion and open their hearts to the world by showing them their inner thoughts. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know, it's really kind of special.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Well, thank you so much.